Can I turn this cheap and old office PC into a gaming machine that can play every game in the world? With the cost of PC parts so high right now, building a new gaming rig from scratch just isn't an option for me. A single new part can cost more than this entire computer. That's why I'm turning to the used market. It's the only way I can save money and still get the performance I need. Now, let's take a look at how good this system is for gaming upgrades. This is a Dell Vostro 3670 that came with an i3-90-100, a 128GB SSD, a stock 290-watt PSU, and a single 8GB stick of DDR4 RAM. Let's talk about the pros. The side panel already has ventilation for both the CPU and GPU areas. Plus, there is a huge amount of space inside, making it very easy to install a large graphics card. The best news is that this PC uses a standard ATX power supply size. So, can we just install a standard ATX PSU and escape the world of proprietary parts? If we look at the rear of the case, there are plenty of options for mounting an exhaust fan. You can fit either one 92mm fan or two 80mm fans. However, there is no case fan installed on a stock PC case at all. We can clearly see the potential here, but what are the challenges? Is it actually straightforward to upgrade? Well, the stock CPU cooler is way too small, so I'll definitely need to upgrade that. Also, even though the case fits a standard ATX PSU, look at these power cables. The motherboard uses a proprietary 8-pin connector, which means I can't plug a standard ATX PSU directly into this board. So, is this a dead end? Not at all. We have this $10 cable. This 24-pin to 8-pin PSU adapter for Dell solves the whole issue. And the last thing, we have one more weird issue. Even though this PC uses a standard ATX PSU size and the mounting holes seem to match, but Dell uses a reverse PSU mounting placement. Let me show you. First, I'll try to install the PSU with the fan facing upward. Look at this. None of the screw holes align because the position is reversed. Now, let's flip it so the fan faces downward. The holes align perfectly, but there's a problem. The case completely blocks the airflow to the PSU fan. I'm not giving up yet though. I have an idea. What if I design a reverse ATX PSU mounting bracket? One side will match the PSU holes and the other will match the PC case. And here it is, the 3D printed bracket. Now that we've identified the potential and the problems we need to fix, let's take on these challenges one by one and transform the slow office PC into a gaming beast. Time to install the standard ATX PSU. First, I'll attach the 3D printed reverse mounting bracket and secure it with 4 screws. Alright, now I have a PSU with a reverse mounting screw hole that aligns with the case. With that in place, we can slide the PSU into position with the fan facing upward. As you can see, the screw holes now align perfectly. We finally managed to get the mounting holes to match while keeping the PSU fan facing up for proper airflow. To secure the PSU bracket to the PC case, I am using M3 screws, the same ones used for motherboard mounting to secure the PSU to the PC case. Now for a fact check. Can we still plug in the power cord? Yes, indeed. Now that the PSU mounting mismatch is solved, let's move on to the next problem, the proprietary 8-pin motherboard power connector. To fix this, a 24-pin to 8-pin PSU adapter handles it just fine. Let's plug the PSU cable into the 24-pin adapter, and then plug the 8-pin end into the motherboard. For the CPU power, most standard 8-pin EPS or CPU cables can be split into two 4-pin connectors. We'll just use one of those 4-pin halves for the CPU power input slot on the board. Alright, the proprietary 8-pin motherboard power connector is solved. Next, I am upgrading the CPU. The stock i3-8100 just is not enough, so I am swapping it for an Intel Core i7-9700 with 8 cores and 8 threads. Let's pull out the i3 and drop in the i7. Now the CPU upgrade is done, let's move on to the RAM. This PC comes with a single stick of 8GB DDR4 RAM. That is fine for office work, but since I am making this a gaming PC, let's add an identical stick. That gives us 16GB total and lets the PC run in dual channel mode, which should help gaming performance a bit. Alright, the RAM and CPU are upgraded, so let's install the case fan before we put in the CPU cooler. This makes it easier to install since we have more room to work with. The fan I have here already has a built-in PWM splitter, so let's connect the main one to the motherboard fan header. The 128GB SSD that came with this PC is not enough, so I am adding a 1TB M2 NVMe SSD. Since we upgraded the CPU, we also need a slightly larger CPU cooler. The one I have here is the Jansbo CR1400 Evo Black. Installing a standard cooler on this PC is simple. We don't need to remove the motherboard to add a backplate. We can just mount the new bracket directly into the original screw holes using a standard Intel screw set. Alright, now let's apply thermal paste to the CPU. And then connect the CPU fan cable to the fan splitter cable that we connected to the motherboard earlier. The last thing to do in this upgrade is install a GPU. For the GPU, I have a used Asus Phoenix RTX 3060 12GB. It has only one fan, and the PC case can actually accommodate a dual fan GPU, but the reason I chose this one is that I bought it used for just $180. So let's install the GPU into the PC. Now let's connect the PCIe 8-pin to the GPU. Alright, now the whole PC upgrade is complete, but we are not done yet. We need to check the CPU and GPU thermal performance and see how this PC handles gaming. Now let's turn on the computer. The first thing I want to check is the CPU temperature under full load and whether the aftermarket cooler helps. I am using CPU-Z to run a stress test while monitoring temperature and power consumption with the HW Info app. After running the test for a few minutes, the results show a max CPU temperature of 66 degrees Celsius and a max PL2 power of 122 watts. Not bad. We will check the temps further with gameplay testing. I do not have a sound measurement tool yet, but for now, you can compare the CPU fan noise with my mouse click. Next, I want to check the GPU installation to see if it is working correctly using GPU-Z. Here I have an Nvidia RTX 3060 12GB running at PCIe 16 Gen 3, even though the GPU natively supports PCIe 16 Gen 4. I do not need to worry about performance loss due to the older PCIe generation with the RTX 3060, since it runs at the full 16 lanes. Now let's run a GPU stress test with Firmark. I am running the Firmark GPU stress test at 1080p, and the results show a max GPU temperature of 70 degrees Celsius and a GPU hotspot temperature of 82 degrees Celsius. With a single fan, I can hear the GPU fan noise starting to ramp up here. Let's compare the GPU fan noise with my mouse click. Alright, now for the moment of truth, the gameplay testing. The first game I want to test is God of War Ragnarok at 1080p high settings with DLSS set to quality. We do not have frame generation support for this GPU generation. The gameplay averages 90 FPS. The CPU temperature is around 68 degrees Celsius, and the GPU temperature is around 72 degrees Celsius. The next game I want to test is Red Dead Redemption 2 at 1080p. I am using the default graphics settings, which the game automatically set to a mix of high and medium after scanning the hardware. For this game, I am using the built-in benchmark tool to test the performance. After the benchmark completed, it showed that the gameplay achieved a low of 30 FPS, an average of 81 FPS, and a max of 121 FPS. The next game I want to test is Resident Evil Requiem at 1080p using a mix of low and standard settings with DLSS set to balance. The gameplay achieves around 70 FPS. The performance is decent enough for a smooth experience. And although we are using a mix of low and standard settings, the game still looks good and plays well at 70 frames per second. Overall, this PC upgrade project is a success. We managed to turn a basic office desktop into a capable gaming machine that can handle modern titles at 1080p with good temperatures. For a total cost that includes a great deal on a used GPU, the performance per dollar is excellent. It is a solid proof of concept for anyone looking to build a powerful system on a budget. If you enjoyed this build, please like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching.